Today I'll show you the 15 coolest dominant chords and how to use them over a jazz blues in C. Hi my jazz friends all over the world, Sandra Sherman here, greetings from Austria. You can download all the lesson material like the tab, backing track, etc. from the link down below in the description box. Please also visit my lesson shop GuitarVersum.com for more lessons like this one. And now let's get started. When we accompany a melody, by the way, in jazz this is called comping. So when we comp a melody, we usually don't go higher as the B string. So our highest note is on the B string. This is to not get in the way with the melody. Whoever plays it or sings it, this is usually higher and we don't want to get higher. So that E string as the highest note is usually reserved for chord fills or chord solos or chord melody, but not when we comp a melody. All right, so we want to stick to the B string first, then later we get to the E string as well. In order to find chords here, we have to know a thing or two. C7 is a dominant chord, as is like D7, E7, F7, and all its tensions like 9, 11, and 13. So these are called dominant chords. They appear on the 5th degree of a scale. If you count back from C or you go back a fifth on the guitar, you land on F, and that is your home scale, F major 7. But when we play on C7, we call this, we refer to C as the root, we call it C mixolydian. So in order to play, to find voicings with top notes on the B string, let's check the F major or C mixolydian scale first. We have a C here, D, E, F, G, A, B flat. F major scale or C mixolydian has a B flat, that's it, and C. Everything else is straight. C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C. All right? So now we can find our comping voicings. All right, the first song we can grab here is a C13 with the C on top. So it starts on the 7th. You get all the chords and the tabs for the blues down below in the info box, all right? C13, C9 has that D on top. We want to go up the scale, remember? You can also play a C9 sus4 here by moving the 3rd to the 4th, but actually C9 is more often played. Then for that E, you probably know this cowboy chord has a 5th in it, and all dominant chords with a 5th in it sound da da. It's not really jazzy, right? So we have a cooler voicing, and this video is called the 15 coolest dominant chords with that E on top. It's a little trickier, but it's worth learning it. It's a C9 chord. Here's your root C, and here's the 3rd. That sounds way cooler than this, right? Has the 9th in here. And then if you slide or glide your index in, you get a C9 sus4, because this is the 4th and this is the 3rd. Can do cool comping stuff with just moving your index in and out. Next one in the scale would be G. So we get a C9 here without root. That you probably know from C blues stuff. That's an E half diminished without the root. So memorize where your virtual root is, I call it. 1 to the left, that's the 3rd of the chord. Let's say you want to have a G9. You move to G, don't play it, 1 to the left, and here's your G9 chord. Okay? So back to C9. Next one in the scale is A. That's a C13 standard jazz tension chord. Then we have this B flat, that's the 7th of the chord. If you have the 3rd and 7th, we usually get these kind of cowboy voicings if we have the 3rd or 7th on top. So there's a better and cooler way, again, a little more tricky, to play that, and that's this baby here. That's a C9 chord. We're a little high up on the neck. It's easier down here. That's a C9 chord. There is no C in there because this is a C7 right? C, that's a C triad cluster with the 7th. Now you can always, that's a trick, okay? Whenever you find a C7 with just each tone being played once, no double tones, no double notes, you exchange the root for the 9th and you get an E half diminished or a C9 without the root. Oops, sorry. But memorize where your root is. Your root is here below the middle finger. Okay? You gotta memorize it. Or 2 to the left on the E string. However you memorize it, you have to memorize where your root is. Otherwise you can't shift it on the fretboard. Now the next one, that was B flat. And then we're back actually to C13 where we started. So here are your chords. We have 2 here. E on top. Sorry, F on top, G on top, A on top, B flat on top, and that's it. Back to C on top. If you want to dig deeper into jazz playing, check out my starter packs. I have all different kinds of genres like Latin, jazz, blues. You learn how to do the rhythm comping, you learn how to improvise. There are chord melody packages on my lesson shop, and all the lesson material is included, like the tabs, Guitar Pro tabs, including tabs and notation, backing tracks, and of course the link to the detailed video tutorials. The price on these packages is a no-brainer, so click the link down below in the description box and grab yours now. And now let's do the same with the high E string. E, F, G, A, B flat, we're in F, or C mixolydian, C, D, E. All right, let's start with the G here. That's a C9 chord that, as we had it, without the root this time. These are called upper voicings. They are used for comping also. Sometimes we use them in this blues, for example, also, but usually they're played for chord melody and chord solos, right? Then for the A, you could just stretch your finger, have an A third, and that's a cool one too, but I chose this one. It's so much cooler. Ah, that's superb sound. Very sophisticated. Here's your root, C. Starts with the 7, 7 of the chord, 9th of the chord, 3rd of the chord, 13. So it's a C9 13. Right? Then we go up to here with the B flat. You would probably play, if you don't know any better, you play that C7. Again, there's a 5th in there. So let's play, well, there's still a 5th in there, but still it sounds cooler if we play C9. As I said before, just find a C7 with only each note being played once. Then you exchange the root for the 9th and you get an E half diminished with the root here. Or you get a C9, that's the same without the root. Virtual root is here. C9. Then we have a C13 here, like we have that C13. Then let's add in a C13 flat 9. We exchange the C for a D flat. That is not mixolydian. It's mixolydian flat 13. It's a different scale, I know. But it's a cool sound and we can use it for when we need an altered sound. It's not perfectly altered because there's still the 13 in. Altered means the tensions 9, 11, and 13 are altered, like flat 9, sharp 11, flat 13. So this one has a straight 13, but a flatted 9th. And we can use it for both as being altered or unaltered. It's kind of like a mixed chord, mixed in-between chord. And then we have the 13, the straight 13 chord with the 9th on top. That's a mixer chord again. And if we went the E on top, again, this would make for a really odd C7 thing, like this one. So let's just change the C to a D, and what we get is a C9 or E half diminished. It's a little narrow up here. Right? Again, you have all the chords listed, and the blues we're going to play next with the tabs down below in the info box. All right. This one. I didn't play the F now. It's, yeah, because usually the sus is not being played that much, with the top note at least. All right, now let's check out the blues. You can help to keep the free video tutorials of this channel running by becoming a member of the channel, and you can do so by clicking the join button right next to the subscribe button, which also grants you access to my mini lessons. You can also say a little thank you by clicking the thanks button and donate a little something. This really helps with the productions of the videos. Thanks a lot. So let's check out the jazz blues you heard in the beginning of this tutorial that uses just dominant voicings. All right, we start with the one chord, of course, C9 here, go up to C9 sus4, quick change to F dominant. We want to go to the closest next chord we can find, or whatever makes melodical sense to us. So I go to F9, and now I do a little sidestepping. Right? One to the left and back in. Next one, we go back to C, C13. It's a regular jazz song form. And now I approach that C9 after the C13 from 2 above. Because this one is pretty compatible. It's like a C13 also. A little sidestepping again. Then we're on the 4th degree. F13, sorry, here we go, F13, and then I go down to that F9, F13, a little in-between note, that's the flat 13 to create a little tension, and it takes me down to that F9. That's this chord voicing, but since we have 2 open strings here, F on top, C9, back to C, 13, and now we need the 6th degree. We go to A altered, and that's why I taught you that 13 flat 9 chord, because we can use that now, maybe even with the open A string, as an altered. Then I want to go to D minor, and since we only want to use minor chords, one chord that can really nicely replace a minor chord is a 9 sus4 chord, or any kind of sus4 chord. And here is one. So we climb down from E, and that's just a little approach thing. D, 9 sus4, to this D of 9 sus4. Right? Then we go to 5th degree, that's G, 9, 13. And now the turnaround, 1, 6, 2, 5. 1 is C9, A13 is the 6 with the flat 9. Then for the 2, we use the D, 9 sus4 again. This time I go all the way up, because this is just the 5th of the chord, so I can do that. Have a better voice leading to that 5 chord, which we can also alter. So it's G13 flat 9 now. And that takes us to that C9, with or without the root. We can add the root afterwards, actually. That's cool. Now let's listen to it at slow tempo. Check out my blues playlist, my chords playlist, concepts playlist, my lesson shop, GuitarVersum.com. Please give this video a fat thumbs up so it can be seen by many others. Also share the video. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm, which is really important for me as a creator. Other than that, I hope to see you next week. Again, servus, baba.